life in general, man, I think people are really guarded, and they don't want to kind of let you in on resources or opportunities. And you know, I can to an extent I can kind of understand it, but in that same token, it's like, you know, I've always been the type of person to kind of give people a chance, and in doing so, I've got burnt before, and then in that same token, things actually kind of you know went well. I built relationships, and I built bonds and just long lasting friendships on whatever, like, resources or whatever uh, knowledge or whatever. Say for instance, if I didn't know of something, if it was kind of out of my scope, I wasn't familiar with it, I'll get you with the person that actually knows more about it, or is a little more uh like versed in it, right? But I think nowadays people, they just don't want to give up those resources, just for the simple fact that they feel that it may dry up, it may get oversaturated, it may get you know overrun, right? And I get it, but at the same time, you never know what type of opportunity that person may give you later on, right? And I've been in situations where somebody did something for me, and you know I always remember, you know and I returned the favor. But I think people are so guarded for the simple fact that they don't want to get messed over, or you know what they have going on messed up, right? Because some people, you know you may think somebody is okay, but on the surface level, but in all actuality, they have ulterior motives, right? Have you ever been in that type of situation? Leave a comment down below. But it's insane though. It's unfortunate that that people are just really just kind of not, you know, allowing people to have certain resources, right? So I'm gonna tell you a story. So a long time ago, I wanted to get into computers, right? And I'm talking about this is like way back in the late '90s, right? Late '90s, going into the 2000s, right? And I asked a good friend of mine. I said, "Hey, man, like, could you show me how to like work on computers?" And you know, and he said something crazy. He was like, "Man, I gotta charge you." I'm talking about this. At this time, I'm working at McDonald's. He said, "Man, I gotta charge you like, $500 or $1,000 to show you all what I know." And granted, so, because for the simple fact that you know you learned, and you know whatever time, whatever hours that you took to learn, what you definitely want to get some type of compensation, right? But in that same token, it's like, dang, you know, I consider you a friend, and you wouldn't want to teach me like something that I could probably carry on with me, you know, for like long term, And so, it that friendship, it was it kind of was like lopsided, right? After that, man, but come full circle, man. I eventually learned how to, work with tech, and fix tech, and I was in that field of tech, and you know, the crazy thing was, you know, I mean, he needed something, but the only thing about it was I wasn't as apt to kind of like let him in on those resources. And you know, I mean, you might feel like that's petty, but at the same time, you gotta look at the whole situation, man. You know, at the time we younger, and I consider you a friend, and you know, you just throw these wild astronomical prices to teach me something, and you and then full circle, and when you need me, you know, it just kind of hits different, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying be petty or vengeful or whatever, but you know, sometimes if you share something something where you can help them, or you can send somebody in the right direction, or put them on the right path, man, full circle, man, it can definitely be a blessing later on, right? You know, that's my time, y'all. You know, if you like this type of content, or if you kind of resonated with this, man, I appreciate the view. And if you was talking about this particular situation, man, send it to a friend or a family member. All right, y'all. I appreciate you hearing what I had to say, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.